The little giraffe had no idea that it was about to face the toughest challenge of its life. While playing in the middle of the vast African savanna, it suddenly became trapped in a deep mud pit. At first, it didn't think much of it. It assumed that with a little effort, it would be able to get out. But within moments, it realized that the situation was far more frightening than it had imagined. The harder it kicked and struggled to free itself, the tighter the mud gripped its legs. Every movement drained more of its energy. After repeated failed attempts to escape, fear began to show clearly in its eyes. A short distance away stood its mother. She kept looking back, as if waiting for her calf to find its way out on its own. But time kept passing, and the young giraffe's strength was fading quickly. After hours of struggle, it became so exhausted that it was forced to lie down in the mud. Then came the most heartbreaking moment. The rest of the herd slowly began moving on. The mother giraffe eventually had to follow them. Perhaps the harsh laws of nature left her with no other choice. Helplessly, the little giraffe watched as its safest refuge, its mother, gradually disappeared into the distance. Silence settled over the savanna. Only the sound of the wind and the fading footsteps of the herd remained. At that moment, the little giraffe had two choices: surrender to its fate or continue fighting with every ounce of strength it had left. It chose the second option. Lifting its head, it began trying again. With an exhausted body, trembling legs, and nearly depleted energy, it struggled repeatedly to stand. Each time, it fell, yet it refused to stop. It knew that being left alone on the savanna meant almost certain death. Lions, hyenas, and wild dogs roamed the land. Predators were always ready to take advantage of weakness. Then, catching sight of its mother's faint silhouette in the distance, it felt a surge of determination return. It took a deep breath. It prepared itself. Then, gathering every bit of strength it had left, it launched itself upward with all its might. Incredibly, this time it managed to break free from the deepest part of the mud, but almost immediately, it lost its balance and collapsed onto the ground. Many would have given up right there, but it didn't. Even while lying on the ground, it did not rest for long. After taking a few seconds to catch its breath, it lifted its head again. Its eyes were fixed on a single goal: reaching its mother. Slowly, it stretched its front legs forward. Its body trembled as it struggled to support its weight. It seemed as though it might fall again at any moment. Still, it kept moving. At last, it reached the edge of the pit. The danger was not over yet. One wrong step could send it sliding back into the mud. So it paused for a moment. It breathed deeply, gathered its strength, and carefully assessed its surroundings. Then came the final moment, the final attempt, the final battle. It planted its hind legs firmly into the ground. Drawing together every bit of strength, courage, and will to survive, it lunged forward. For a few seconds, time seemed to stand still. Then, it succeeded. Its entire body broke free from the grip of the mud. With its body soaked, its legs trembling, and its eyes heavy with exhaustion, it slowly rose to its feet. At first, it wobbled. Then, it regained its balance. Finally, it stood firmly once again on solid ground. The giraffe that had seemed helpless and defeated only moments before was now victorious. This small creature leaves us with a powerful lesson. No matter how difficult the circumstances may be, no matter how many times failure comes, we must never lose the courage to make one final attempt. Often, success arrives at the very moment when we believe we have no strength left. In the end, the little giraffe won its fight for survival, and that victory came from its unwavering determination, patience, and refusal to give up.